You won't see anything from me tonight. Unfortunately, I will not be in uniform tonight. Still dealing with ankle and foot discomfort, so I will not be playing tonight. Unfortunately, I hate that.
Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Opinion Stated, where I give unfiltered, opinionated sports takes. Let's go. Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Opinion Stated, and I have an absolutely phenomenal episode for you planned. This is on the heels of the 2025 NBA All-Star Weekend, NBA All-Star Game, Friday night festivities, or rather All-Star Friday, All-Star Saturday night, and then Sunday's game. What a fucking shit show. So, if you've already seen the thumbnail, you made it this far in the video, you saw the clip of LeBron James, you saw me mention LeBron James' name, I'm going to dig into how LeBron James, his antics, played a huge role in the degradation of the weekend itself. But before we dive into the content, do me a huge favor, man, and like this video if you haven't done so already. Liking the video helps us cruise along Algorithm Avenue, helps us get into the presence of individuals like yourself who are looking for this kind of content. Without further ado, I'm sorry. Before I move too far ahead of myself, subscribe to the channel also. Subscribing to the channel, you know what I mean, obviously helps to keep you in the loop of what we're doing and keep you on the trajectory of growth with us. Click that notification bell to be alerted as to when my newest episodes are uploaded. Man, I'm already ready to dive into the content. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to entitle today's episode, LeBron James cheated fans All-Star Weekend. This motherfucker, if you saw the little small sound clip that I played, you know what I mean, right at the start of this video, you saw that LeBron James, that clip is from maybe an hour to an hour and a half before the actual game started. LeBron James takes to the podium, press conference style, answering questions from the media, and decides to drop the "I ain't playing today" bomb on the world, even on the NBA. I imagine they were just like shocked too, like what the, like that's crazy, you know. So he cited, foot soreness or you know what I mean, some kind of discomfort, with the ankle, as you guys heard on the audio. And I thought it was really, really funny. And to be 100% honest, now I felt heartbroken. And it's not that I was tuning in just to see LeBron, but I'm like, bro, you know that the ratings are suffering already. You know that people are, you know what I mean? We're all tuning in to kind of date this new idea of a format and all this stuff, man. Your presence is so important and vital to the weekend. So as a basketball fan, I was just like, bro, this is crazy. Literally, I was like, man, what the fuck is going on? What is wrong with LeBron, bro? And so with it, and I really hate to jump on this like hypothetical, presupposed conspiracy theory kind of thing, but it made me start thinking, like maybe this is a silent protest of sorts. You know, if in reality it was a kind of a surprise and shock that Anthony Davis and Luka were going to be swapped for each other, it's a slap in the face to LeBron because he's always been in the loop. And as that guy in his mind, and to satisfy his ego, everything should be run by him, you know? So for the organization, the Lakers organization, this is just presupposed here, but perhaps the Lakers organization deciding to go with the trade for Luka Doncic puts them in a position to transition beyond LeBron while LeBron is still in uniform, which is crazy. That's yeah, it's kind of disrespectful. It's kind of disrespectful, but what do you expect? I mean, like life goes on, man. Like after you, bro, we got to do some things, but it almost feels like in LA a rebuild on LeBron's watch because it took the Dallas Mavericks years, bro, years, literally. Luka's been in the league 6.5 years. It took them a long time to put the pieces around him. You know what I mean? Like that will get them into a space of winning. We see them bump from the playoffs and not make the playoffs a whole bunch of times, injuries notwithstanding. I'm just saying, it took them a while. It's going to take the Lakers a while to put the right pieces around Luka as well. And they made that attempt to trade Dalton Connect to bring in Mark Williams, you know what I mean, which was rescinded. So anyway, back to the LeBron portion of it. You know, it could be that he's not feel. He did say that he wasn't feeling the new format. We got to do something. You know what I mean? It's like to hype up the competition, or raise the level of competition and competitiveness in the game, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe this was a silent protest against participation in this new weird, silly format. And I don't really think that I could be mad at him for wanting to protest it. Is my statement so far out of bounds, or the presupposition so far out of bounds that LeBron James could possibly have staged a silent protest and not playing against the league? I don't really think so, because when they were doing the announcements, announcing the lineups, the players, the all-stars, right? Who were going to be participating, or who were named all-stars, chosen and selected as all-stars for this year's all-star game during the festivities. As the game started, Giannis Antetokounmpo was announced, and it was stated, you know what I mean, like selected as an all-star, but not participating tonight because of injury, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And he comes out, and you know what he's wearing? He's wearing a warm-up. He's wearing a warm-up akin to all the other all-stars who were about to play in the game, and as everybody uniformly came out. When they announced LeBron James in the same outfit that he was in that press conference, hat to the back, you know what I mean, jacket on, shirt on, like, that's utterly disrespectful, bro. You know what you're there for. You're here for. So, call it conspiracy. Call me a conspiracy theorist all you want. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I typically will just give opinions based on the facts, but I'm just saying the way that this looks optically, man, it looks like I'm right. It looks like I'm right. But, you know what I mean? Letting that go. Thanks so much to LeBron James for cheating us, cheating the fan experience this Sunday, you know what I mean, for the All-Star weekend. It's not just that he cheated us on Sunday, but if you guys remember, you can go back to reports over like the last month to month and a half or so. That's where it was reported that LeBron James and Bronny both declined the opportunity to take part in the skills challenge. Like, they didn't even want it. No, we good. So it almost seems like maybe he was setting this up the whole time. Like, I don't want to participate in none of this stuff. None, none of it. Right? I don't want to be a part of any of it. Telling me that LeBron James didn't know that his ankle was sore and all that stuff, bro, prior to a month and a half ago, saying, nah, no skills challenge. Then today you wait all the way up until game time, like game time decision for the All-Star. No, as Draymond Green said on the broadcast, this is where it really brings it home for me. Then I'm gonna let this go. Draymond Green said, well, I could have told y'all that like 2 hours ago. Fuck Draymond Green know, and the rest of the world don't know. And then he cleaned it up. Like, they were like, oh damn, what he told you? And Draymond's like, no. This is an ongoing issue for him. This ankle issue, this issue with his foot, this is an ongoing thing. And well, I guess we can think back. He did recently miss a game, one of the last 2 games before the All-Star break. He sat out as well, and so it could be conceivable that, man, it's just a sore foot, and this is a reach. But if that's the case, bro, you knew that it's not in your best interest to play. You could have alerted the league ahead of time, sit the game out, bro, and let them choose and select another player who can step up in your place. Getting off the LeBron James train. Of course, Luka Doncic did not play in the game as well. Of course, Anthony Davis did not play in the game either, who was selected as an all-star. Anthony Edwards, to make matters worse, Anthony Edwards didn't even participate in the game, citing a growing soreness or stiffness or something or another. Like, what is going on? And so I just thought that all of that was wild, man. It was wild. No LeBron, no Luka, no AD. Naturally, AD is actually announced as being injured. No Giannis. Giannis is actually listed as injured. And it was just crazy, man. But to the shit show that was the All-Star game for this weekend, I don't think that anything could underscore more of how despicable this iteration of NBA entertainment has become than the way that the skills challenge started out on Saturday night. and that was with the NBA All-Star 2025. Chris Paul, Victor Wembanyama disqualified from skills challenge for not taking for not taking shots. Man, it was so funny. It was really you could literally see on the screen running now. I am running, you know what I mean, just like the replay of how quickly they ran through the skills, obstacle course in record time, 47 seconds. Uh, I'll get into the article. It's an article from yahoosports.com, penned by Ian Castleberry. I'm going to jump into this article, and then I'll come back and I'll give my opinions on such. Chris Paul thought he figured out a way to skirt the rules of the NBA All-Star 2025 Skills Challenge, but he and his San Antonio teammate Victor Wembanyama were disqualified for their shenanigans. The final stage of the three-part skill challenge involved shooting, but to get through the relay with as fast a time as possible, Wembanyama and Paul didn't actually shoot the balls from the rack. Instead, they flung the balls quickly toward the basket, not engaging in any sort of shooting motion. And so now shots don't count unless you actually shoot them, because we watch players fall all the time and just kind of throw shots up, throw shots around. Somebody's gonna have to define like an actual shot. And what is a shot? What classifies as a shot? Because we should probably take back a whole bunch of field goal attempts from people, unless it has to be an actual, you know what I mean? There's got to be some form and follow through. I just thought that was really weird. TNT broadcasters Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller quickly zeroed in on Paul for being the mastermind, which wasn't a bad guess considering he's a 20-year NBA veteran. However, when Wembanyama said afterward that not shooting was his idea, according to Draymond Green, Wembanyama also apparently claimed that he ran his hack by several NBA executives who said it was all right. The other two stages of the challenge involve dribbling and passing drills. The tiebreaker is a half-court shootout. What did Paul and Wembanyama have in mind for that? Actually shooting it, I would imagine. Team Spurs was booed by the fans at the Chase Center and received disapproval from their fellow competitors for trying to circumvent the rules and get through the relay quickly. Cleveland Cavaliers guard Donovan Mitchell was seen giving the Spurs duo a thumbs down, two thumbs down, actually, for their attempt to create a loophole. The three other teams involved in the challenge were Team Cavs, Mitchell and Evan Mobley, Team Warriors, Green and Moses Moody, and Team Rooks, Alex Sarr and Zachariah Risache. Honestly, with scandal affecting the competition, wouldn't Green have been suspected as the culprit? Maybe he should have been allowed to met out justice to his one-time teammate. Paul tried to plead his case and get the disqualification overturned, but with no success. Will his actions end up ruining the All-Star Skills Challenge? If so, perhaps it's time to revisit a horse competition. Those shots would actually have to go in. So, yeah, man, I just thought it was really weird, like just watching it. And that was they were the first, team in that skills challenge to go up. And so when they did that, I was just like, come on, bro. I'm like, this is exactly why, you know what I mean? Like people don't want to tune into this shit. And it's because it's like, if you didn't want to actually compete in the competition, why sign up? You could have just pulled a LeBron and Bronny and said, nah, bro, we good. We'd rather not. Why get into the competition and then make a mockery of it, bro? It's just weird. Like, why would you do that? And so to me, you know what I mean? I just bust out laughing. I really wanted to turn my TV off at that point, you know what I mean? Or I was watching on a laptop, but I really wanted to just shut the laptop at that point, man. But I was like, nah, because I have to actually watch it so that I can give some sound, you know what I mean, analysis, not just going back watching highlights and then trying to talk about it like I actually watched it. So I spent all this time this weekend watching this bullshit, and that was the first thing that I saw. But again, it underscores to me the perfect, like a poignant, point of like what's wrong with these NBA players, with these professional athletes here. They don't care. They don't care, bro. That was a clear sign of just like not caring. It was innocent. Yeah, being too harsh on them, Q. Like, no, bro. Care enough to actually go through the competition, bro, and try to like trying to, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you trying to circumvent the rules? It's really weird, bro. Just do the thing. Do the thing. Let us display the skill. It's a really weird skills challenge, you know what I mean, to begin with, to me. Like, what if I can't make a bounce pad? Like 5, 6 year olds playing ball can bounce a ball through a little whatever, man. But it is what it is. So they attempted to circumvent it and made a fool of themselves, really and truly. Shout out to Team Cavs. Team Cavs wins the 2025 Kia Skills Challenge. Cavalier stars Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell team up to deny the hometown Warriors for the title. So shout out to Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell, man, who would ultimately go on to win the competition. Um, you know what I mean? Like, clearly went through the entire obstacle course properly, and were able to walk away with the title. And so, congratulations to those brothers. That was really interesting. I just want to kind of get into a recap of like exactly what happened after that. So this was all on Saturday night, of course. And then Tyler Hero won these Hero Heater Heat Star wins Starry 3-point contest. Heat All Star Tyler Hero holds off Buddy Hield and a Damian Lillard three-peat to win the 2025 Starry 3-point contest. Shout out to Tyler Hero, who's having an incredible, it's like a breakout season for Tyler. It's not that Tyler hasn't been having good basketball seasons over the last like handful of years, maybe, right? But it's just his scoring has increased. That obviously helped, in my opinion. They'll make a decision to move on from Jimmy Butler. They're just like, man, Tyler's coming to his own. I think he can handle it. They're not a superstar driven team, you know what I mean, like, so to speak, in Miami, based on like kind of the system that Spoelstra, employs. And so, but Tyler Hero, shout out to Tyler Hero, man, just super happy. You know what I mean? It was a really good thing to kind of watch him, and then that, you know what I mean, that shooting touch of his just kind of carried over into the game on Sunday as well. So we watched Tyler Hero win the 3-point contest. Before I move on, I was going to say something actually. The NBA is actually suffering from, and maybe it's not the NBA specifically, maybe it's TNT, but the NBA seems to be struggling from the broadcast on TNT. Maybe it's good that TNT is going away. Did a whole video months back, which detailed the lawsuit, you know what I mean, that TNT and Turner Sports filed against the NBA to, get the contract that they had given to Amazon Holdings. Dig through my page and you can find it. But the NBA, by and large, has a narrative, good, positive storyline issue. And so to read in this article that Damian Lillard was going for a three-peat, I don't think that I really heard much about that leading into the week. I can recall hearing a lot about Mac McClung going for a three-peat, but not Damian Lillard going for a three-peat with his three. So I think that there should have been a whole profile on Damian Lillard and Mac McClung prior to those competitions. It would have been much better to see, like, them go through some of that old footage, have them sit down and kind of talk about what that process has looked like for them, and you know what I mean, like how exciting that was, and then what they were intended to do in the contest this year, and how much a three-peat would have meant to them, and that would have just been more gripping, right? Because we're talking about competitors in a whole All-Star weekend, people who are supposed to be the best of the best based on the game itself or the festivities themselves and the competition. So somebody get this video to the NBA and let them know, man. I'll give you guys some ideas, but they're not gonna be cheap. Like, seriously, fix yourselves. It's fucking ridiculous at this point. Fans deserve better. Speaking of Mac McClung, three-peat. Mac McClung wins 2025 AT&T Slam Dunk. Mac McClung puts on a show with 4 perfect dunks to become the first player to win 3 consecutive Slam Dunk titles. I believe that Mac McClung was also the first player to ever have 4 perfect dunks in a dunk contest. Now, while I was entertained, you can see, the video image or footage of him jumping over this car. While I was entertained by, that dunk, can we just get back to creative dunks without props? And maybe we can't, but I'll get into at the end of this video how I believe that we can. Right? Let's stick to Mac McClung here. Congratulations to Mac McClung, who won the competition now the last 3 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025. Interestingly enough, as reported by ESPN on their social media pages, Mac McClung has now made more money in slam dunk competitions than he's made his entire NBA career. He only played in actually one game all season for the Orlando Magic, which qualified him to be able to participate in this competition. I'm very curious to know when that one game was. You know what I'm saying? Like when did that one game happen? And did they only bring him up from the G League just to play that one game so that he could qualify for the dunk contest? It's really interesting, man. Mac McClung has won the G League MVP in recent seasons. Clearly, he's won now 3 consecutive dunk contest championships. Mac McClung also played in the Rising Stars game on on both Saturday night and also on Sunday night. Interestingly enough, though, in those games, to me, and I know he could clearly, I've had people like, he could be a 12th man or 15th man on somebody's roster. Like, I don't understand why they won't sign him. He didn't really look that impressive to me playing on that NBA level amongst his peers. He just didn't look that impressive. And it almost, it's almost akin to me what Bronny James looks like out there. It's not that the kid can't play basketball. He broke Allen Iverson's scoring records in the state of Virginia. Well, he can play, but just not on this level maybe. But anyway, that notwithstanding, you know what I mean? Like it was I alluded to, give me my dunks back, give me my dunk contest back without all the props, man. We saw this brother jump over somebody. We saw, him jump over someone holding the ball, take the ball from this joker, somebody else on the ladder beside him. You know what I mean? So while he's dunking this ball, he then, you know what I mean? Like, not just, like, way to go. Like, oh, that was super creative. Like, saw Dominique dunk 2, or was it Dominique back in the day? Dunk 2 basketballs at one time. And if it wasn't Dominique, I can be fact checked on that. But I remember a dunk contest where, you know what I mean? Like somebody came up and dunked 2 basketballs. And yeah, that was pretty impressive. It was really kind of no different than this. We saw him then jump over someone else, take the ball from him, bounce it off the rim, dunk it. Jump over the car as well. And again, it's not that I didn't appreciate the dunks, you know what I mean? But just I think that when you talk about creativity of dunkers, and I'm like you guys, you're watching me on YouTube. I watch YouTube as well. YouTube videos of dunkers. I've seen them on Instagram. I've seen them on X. I've seen them everywhere, man. There are some incredible dunkers of the basketball in the world. Now, I said this to someone earlier today. Professional basketball player doesn't necessarily equal like incredible dunker. Just they're not synonymous. They are not equal, right? Just because you're a pro baller doesn't mean that you're the most masterful dunker that we've ever seen. You just made it into pro ball, bro. That doesn't make you the greatest dunker or the most creative dunker. So maybe the dunkers aren't in the NBA. I think that they should open up the field to allow dunkers to come in who are just creative and just incredible, man, from everywhere, because it would still put on a show for the fans, would incentivize these guys. Well, not just money, incentivize them maybe with the opportunity to play in the Rising Stars game or something like that. If they have that ability to actually play the game and they're not just, I incentivize them somehow. But I think that there's so many incredible dunkers out there, man, that they should definitely make the competition more interesting to watch by getting some real dunkers in the competition and not just this weird shit with props and NBA players that just can't do anything and cats from the G League. Shout out to Matt McClung. No hate on him whatsoever because I'm incredibly excited for the cat. But anyway, And then there was the game on Sunday. New format, notwithstanding, crazy new format. Really weird, interesting. You know what I mean? Like whatever. I wasn't really impressed. But Steph Curry named Kia MVP as Shaq's OGs win first NBA All-Star mini tournament. Hometown hero scores 12 points to help Shaq's OGs defeat Chuck's global stars in the new All-Star format. Shout out to Jason Tatum. Jason had like 8 of the first 11 points and ended up with, I believe, 13 total points. You know, Steph had a half court three, a couple other threes. Much like in the Olympics, he came in and just stole the show there at the end. Jason Tatum got snubbed for another goddamn trophy of some sorts. I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. But shout out to Jason Tatum, man. He's such a good sport. I could tell that he was clapping and shit, but I could tell he's just like, come on, bro, like this is some bullshit. Like what I gotta do? But Steph Curry, will go on to win that MVP for that new formatted All Star game or tournament. You know what was really weird to me about this entire ordeal? It was the breaks in between. And it was just like so much weird stuff happening from Kevin Hart being on the microphone, doing this weird. Somebody was like, "Oh, it was like a Rucker Park." One of the commentators, it was almost like a Rucker Park feel with Kevin Hart kind of heckling on the mic, which it really was. It's just like, bro, this is the fucking All Star game. This is like a prestigious event. It used to be a very prestigious event. A very prestigious event. It used to be, yo. This was a show. And so much of the showmanship has been taken out of it. It felt more like an award show today, even with all the performances. Not that I didn't appreciate, you know what I mean, E40 and seeing Raphael Sadiq and seeing um, In Vogue, and you know what I mean. Like, it's not that I did not appreciate seeing all these artists pop out, but it just felt real award showish. And again, that time could have been better filled, in my opinion, based on it being the All-Star game. That time could have been much better used running profiles on the All-Stars and letting us see them, see their, you know what I mean? Like run some footage of them and their families, and you're sitting down in their living room talking to them and showing highlights of them and them talking about the season and what the season means to them and what it means to be an All-Star. Like, the time would have been much more interesting when based around the All-Star game to be based around the All-Stars themselves, and it wasn't. And so I can almost understand why the All-Stars maybe aren't really into the festivities anymore, because it's a weekend that's not about them. But it's supposed to be about them. So that's just that, man. But after the game, Draymond Green, or during the broadcast prior to, and then you could be heard throughout. Man, Draymond Green was dragging this new format. Draymond Green blast ridiculous NBA All-Star format for inviting rising stars. A zero sucks, he said. And Draymond's comments were Draymond. You know what I mean? Draymond could never be mistaken for the kind of person who's not going to speak his mind and who's not going to say it, you know, tell it like he sees it, like tell it like it is, but tell it like he sees it, especially. I think that, again, as I talked about, the NBA having a narrative problem and having a storyline problem, maybe it is really good that the NBA is leaving TNT, because there was just so much Jalen. I'm not saying I don't disagree with him. I'm not saying I disagree with him, but I'm saying Jalen Rose chimed in on it also. Even he's like just talking about LeBron not playing today. And then Jalen, I'd rather Draymond Green goes in. Chuck will not hold his tongue. Shaq will not hold his tongue on the network talking about, things that they don't like, etc. Candace has gotten to the point, so she'll speak up and talk about the things about the game and the NBA itself that she doesn't like. And it's probably good that the NBA is leaving TNT, and they should probably be careful to tighten up ESPN while they're at it, and FS1, or ESPN, especially because ESPN gets to broadcast the games. So maybe not so much FS1, but to tighten them up, to pull them up and say, hey, man, listen, if our product's going to be broadcast on these networks, the commentators can't speak negatively about the product. They can't. Especially when we're trying to get the fans like on board with this new format. We can't have you guys for 2 hours, 3 hours mocking the product. It's counterproductive. I was really turned off by that today too. As I'm just trying to feel my way through the format, and yeah, it's new, so I don't really like it, but I don't necessarily want to tune in to hear people talk negatively about it. That's a problem. It is problematic. They need to address that too. Like I would not take a brand that I created and put my brand on a network and then have the network appoint commentators to officiate over my, ceremony, ceremoniously or unceremoniously, through some camera feed or some live feed, and trash my product the whole time after I paid them to broadcast or just because rather they paid me to broadcast my brand, my product. That's not cool. But what do I know? So I want to get into this article rather from Yahoo Sports on Draymond. The article itself was penned by Jason Owens, and this article reads: Draymond Green is not here for the NBA's new All-Star format. He's not alone, but he was certainly the most vocal Sunday night on the most prominent of NBA platforms. A Warriors forward sat in on the desk for TNT's coverage of Sunday's All-Star festivities, which featured a mini tournament for the first time. The tournament consisted of 4 teams playing in 3 games to crown a champion. 3 of those teams were made up of NBA All-Stars. The 4th was not. Instead, it was the winner of Friday's Rising Stars tournament that featured first and second year players who were not selected as All-Stars. What are we doing here? Before the tournament started, Green called that Rising Stars team some team that no one wants to see. Let me fact check myself really quickly here too. I believe I said that Mac McClung played on Sunday, but he didn't. He played in with the G League young team, and they didn't make it. They lost to the Rising Stars rookie young or first and second year players, as the article just stated. Before somebody jumps in my comments, like, what are you talking about? I had to work so hard to play on Sunday night of All-Star Weekend, Green said, while speaking on the TNT desk. And because ratings are down, because the game's bad, we're bringing in Rising Stars. That's not a fix. I never played in the Rising Stars game. My first 2 years, I didn't touch that game. And these guys get to touch the All-Star floor on Sunday night. He wasn't done there. The first semifinal Sunday night featured Team Chuck and Team Kenny, both of which consisted of actual All-Stars. Team Chuck prevailed via a 42-31 victory, led by standout performances from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Victor Wembanyama. Then the Rising Stars team, aka Candace or Team Candace, took on Team Shaq in the second game. Before tip of that game, Green again laid into the tournament and its first to 40 format. You work all year to be an all-star and you get to play up to 40 and then you're done, Green said. This is so unfair to Victor Wembanyama, who just took this game very seriously. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who just took this game really seriously. When you're talking about chasing after the points record, Melo and Kobe, all of these guys who have had great scoring nights, they don't get the opportunity to do that with this game. All so we can watch some rising stars. Now we get the treat of watching the Olympic team play against a under 19 team. Come on. What are we doing? 10 being the best, Green responded. A 0 sucks. After Team Shaq scored a 42-35 win over the Rising Stars, Green had his say again when asked if the team of Rising Stars proved anything to him with its effort. Yes. That they shouldn't have been out there, Green said. That's all they prove. They never belonged on the court. Tell us how you really feel, Draymond. So, a lot to unpack. But before I do that, I want to get into, I want you guys to like actually hear me reading his comments are one thing, but Dre's voice, you know what I mean? Like I want you guys to hear for itself, and I want you guys to hear from Draymond himself. Let's take a listen to Draymond.
Some team that no one wants to see.
Oh, man.
I had to work so hard to play on Sunday night of All-Star Weekend. And because ratings are down, because the game's bad, we're bringing in Rising Stars. That's not a fix. I never played in the Rising Stars game. My first 2 years, I didn't touch that game. And these guys get to touch the All-Star floor on Sunday night? Work all year to be an all-star, and you get to play up to 40, and then you're done. This is so unfair to Victor Wembanyama, who just took this game really seriously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who just took this game really seriously. When you talk about chasing after the points records, Melo and Kobe and all these guys who've had great scoring nights, they don't get the opportunity to do that with this game. Also, we can watch some rising stars. We're about to watch the Olympic team. Now we get the treat of watching the Olympic team play against a U19 team. Come on, what are we doing? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, 1 to 10, your thoughts of the format?
10 being the best?
Yes.
A 0 sucks. No, because they're facing the guys that they had to beat in the Olympics. And so now you'll see the OGs play serious because they're not going to want to lose to the international guys. So I'm rolling with the OGs.
You weren't impressed, though. 9 lead changes, 5 ties, the Rising Stars. Did they come out here and prove anything to you, Draymond?
Yes, that they shouldn't have been out there. That's all they proved. They never belonged on that court. Those games weren't exciting at all. I didn't see you even smile during that.
Don't put me on.
It wasn't exciting at all.
That was unnecessary.
So so let me say this. Like, and this is just my honest assessment. I did not think the Rising Stars game. I thought the Rising Stars competition was actually the best. Yeah, like honestly, I thought they competed. The game was close. They rallied there at the end. Could have actually hit a couple shots, like a few threes or a few shots, had gone down. We could be talking a whole different story there. They would have just made. I was actually started hoping for, because I heard the Draymond comments during the broadcast. I was hoping those kids just shock the world. I was like, man, if they did, that would be so dope, because he'd be out there eating crow, boy. he would have to have several slices of humble pie, sir. And so I did not think that game was the most competitive. I thought very competitive, competition or portion of the competition. He's going pretty hard on the Rising Stars, making it seem like the Rising Stars, I mean, them and their participation is the worst, thing that could possibly happen. How dare you give these rising stars an opportunity to touch the court on Sunday? I had to work so hard to get here. Well, it's your fault. No, it's you all's fault. You and all those other all-stars who come through this game and not taking it seriously. The motherfuckers who scored nearly 400 points last year, not taking the game seriously. You know what I mean? Like not playing defense, just doing anything. Well, I'm just going to shoot all my left hand. Anthony Edwards said last year, I'm just going to shoot left-handed the whole first quarter, the whole first half. Not even taking the game seriously. And so how dare you be mad because they're giving someone else an opportunity to earn their way up there, not by the way that you guys did it as actual all-stars, but through this creation of this really weird tournament. Now, am I saying it's not kind of weird? No, I'm not. But the whole thing is weird. So just to harp on the Rising Stars, man, and to drag them around is not cool, bro. You should know better than that too. I was really disappointed with Draymond's, just fervor for like continuing to go in and just beat these kids up. I was like, bro, ease up. Like seriously, bro, ease up. And again, I mean, I don't know, man. I just think that it's this previous generation leading into today's generation of players, man, over the last 10, 15 years that have destroyed the competitive edge, not just in the All-Star game, but in the game of basketball itself. In the game of basketball itself, man. And there's this weird sense of entitlement that I heard in the voice and in the commentary of Draymond Green that has led to the actual degradation of the product. It's like you don't want to do it, but you don't want anybody else to do it. So if you guys would just step up and play the game like you're being paid to play the game, like what would there be to talk about? fans will still be entertained. But because you guys don't actually care about it, you don't care about competing. You guys don't actually, anyway, I want to get into one more sound clip. Before I blow a wad here. I want to get into a sound clip where Mike Miller, and shout out to Mike Miller and Udonis Haslam of the OGs podcast, former NBA players. They were, talking about this new format. So I want to dig into that now. Come back and I'll give my opinion. Let's take a listen.
We have a new format for All-Star break, for All-Star game.
How do you feel about this?
My initial reaction is I'm an old school dude. I love when East-West just went out there and bump, but I've also never been an All-Star, so I don't know. Because I hear the criticisms, right? They don't play hard. They don't. Listen, man, with all due respect, the guys that are in the All-Star game have heavy lifting the entire year.
Yes.
If you ask your fan base, if you ask your ownership, if you ask everybody, would you want a healthy, good LeBron James at the end of the season, blah, blah, blah? The answer is always going to be yes.
Yes. I agree.
It's not fair to me to answer this question because the easy answer as an OG and loving the All-Star games growing up would say, man, just East-West, let's go ride this thing out, let's see who wins. But I had times where I was one of the best players on the team, but it was never like I wasn't at the All-Star level, so it's hard. I mean, I don't know what their bodies feel like. I don't know where they're at.
My question is, how does this help them play harder?
The only reason I think it can is because it's to 40. It's not a long game. It's not going to be grueling and taxing.
Killer, they don't be playing no minutes anyway in an All-Star game.
But I'm saying in this situation here, like the format's dope. It's hard.
I get it.
Because you look at...
But I don't understand how changing the format's going to make them play hard.
I don't disagree.
If they're not going to play hard, they're not going to play hard.
I think the reality of the situation is we got to take the All-Star game for what it is. It's a celebration of how good these...
Yeah.
And if you're going to have them 82 games, and listen, man, I'm so thankful and blessed this NBA that this thing exists. Yes. But it's you can't just keep whipping the horse.
Yeah, two things can be true.
Even that perspective from Mike Miller is really interesting because there was just so much in there to unpack, man. I was like, I don't even know where to start. First of all, we got to take the All-Star game for what it is. It's a celebration of these players. Exactly, bro. Exactly. The All-Star game is an assembly of the greatest or the best statistically, those of who are actively playing in the league right now, to say, man, I'm going to assemble two teams full of superheroes. And if you put the best of the best on the court in an industry or in a room from an industry, any industry, you would expect to get, absolute fucking magic out of, like, production-wise, out of that cast of characters. There's absolutely no way that in a game that is supposed to celebrate the best of the best basketball players, we get a subpar product to the regular season. Now, in defense of these players, because as Udonis Haslam said, he's one of my favorite sayings also, two things can be true. Could it be grueling and exhausting for these guys? Could it be nonsensical for these guys even? To go out and overexert themselves in a game that, really doesn't matter, except they're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it because they actually get a salary for playing in this game also. As a congratulations. As a man, thanks for your hard work to this point. They do. And thanks for your participation. They do. They actually get paid. But maybe it doesn't make sense to go out and injure yourself or put risk injury or further risk injury, maybe LeBron James, Anthony Edwards in this case. Giannis Antetokounmpo, obviously, with a sore calf. And it just doesn't make sense, and I get it. I, like Mike Miller, I never played in the NBA All-Star game. And I'm not trying to say that the 3 All-Star games that I played in high school are anywhere near on the level of the NBA All-Star game, but I can guarantee you this. They were more competitive. They were more competitive than the product that they put in front of us for the last 10 years or so, bro. More competitive. They were literally more competitive. It's crazy. So those actual competitions, I brought that up to say, those took place at the end of our actual season, So I can understand it was a different thing. It was like, man, these are the last games of the season. So it was a different energy that went into playing those games. Maybe the NBA needs to rethink when these games take place. But I don't think that would even be a fix because, in my opinion, that will be even further more of a reason for players to check out because I'm ready to go on vacation, bro. I don't want to play in no extra game. You know what I mean? So I don't really know what the fix could be. But again, I wanted to share that sound clip because, even for Mike Miller to say, like, yeah, man, these dudes carrying a heavy load and, they don't know what their bodies are feeling like. And we've never known that. This ain't new. The players have been playing 82 games for years, bro. That didn't just start. Players have always battled through injury, always battled through fatigue. You just can't keep whipping the horse, he said. These motherfuckers make multi-millions per year. Ain't nobody whipping them. Ain't nobody whipping them, bro. That statement alone, as it speaks to the mentality of these players these days, bro, it literally underscores the issue. It's entitlement over appreciation. It is a display of entitlement over appreciation. They do not appreciate the position that they've been elevated into. They don't care, bro. They don't care. And it's evident. It is evident, unfortunately, to the detriment of the game that we love as NBA basketball fans, yo. And it needs to be fixed. So that's been the basis of this episode. Man, I want to thank you guys for tuning in once again. My name is Cosmic. Like this video if you haven't done so already, and subscribe to the channel as well. We're on our road to our first 500 subscribers, like 70 subscribers away. So if you haven't subscribed already, man, be a part of that to 500 and beyond train that we're going on. Got a lot more exciting content planned for you guys here in the near future. Click that notification bell to be notified as to when. Until the next episode, take care of yourselves. Look forward to kicking it with you guys. Until then, blessings.